Undefine Yourself. My name is Fred Dodson, and this presentation is about how you can find the most happiness in life if you just be yourself. Okay? And I'm sure you've heard that many times from various books and teachers, and even from your friends, when they tell you, just be yourself. Just be yourself. And oftentimes we ask ourselves, what does that mean? What does it mean to just be myself? And that's what I'm here to explore with you. You see, life flows and grows the most effortlessly if you are who you are. In other words, a cat is just a cat. A tree is just a tree. And the tree grows all by itself because it's not trying to be anything different than a tree. In other words, just being yourself means going by what you feel, by what you truly feel inside, being authentic to what feels right to you and what doesn't feel right to you. In other words, if certain activities or certain foods don't taste or feel right to you, then being yourself would mean to say no to those activities and foods. Okay? So going by your feelings, not by your thinking, but by what you authentically feel, is one of the ways to get closer to yourself. And people then object and say, but Fred, if I go by my feelings all the time, then when I'm angry, I'm just going to go with that. I'm just going to dump all my negative emotions on my partner. And that's not what I mean by going with your feelings. As a general rule of the thumb, your soft feelings are more aligned with who you really are, with your soul, and your hard and rigid feelings are more of the ego self. Okay, so as a general rule, all anger, shame, guilt, rage, unfulfilled craving is not what I mean by feelings. Those are not your feelings. Those are automatic emotional reactions, negative emotions, hard emotions. So when I say to be yourself, you need to go by your feelings, I'm talking about the soft and gentle voice within yourself that's telling you right from wrong. And you have this inner navigation system that instantly tells you whether something feels right for you or not. That's what your emotions are for. If you feel disgust at a certain type of activity, that activity is not for you. Okay? Now, your emotions, your feelings, can get distorted by your beliefs. So if you have very strong beliefs about something, you might feel strongly positive or strongly negative about it. So in order to find yourself and your true feelings, independent of your beliefs, you have to undefine yourself. So the slower your mind is, and the less hard definitions you have, the less hard beliefs, the more you gain access to your intuitive knowledge. That's what I mean by undefine yourself. You see the problem here? You can't really know what you truly feel if you're full of these strong ideas and beliefs that generate your feelings. So, releasing old beliefs, old programs, fixed ideas is one way to find more to yourself and to feel what you really feel about something. So then your desire for one activity is not generated by fixed ideas, it's generated by intuition, knowing what is truly right for you. So what I recommend you do is examine your self-image, the image you have of yourself. Let's do this together right now. If you look inside for a moment, eyes open or closed. And you say your name. Say your own name. Okay, so for example, I'd close my eyes and I'd say Fred Dodson. Fred Dodson. What is the idea of yourself that comes up? What self-image idea do you have of yourself? Who do you think you are? You can ask yourself, who am I? Who do I think I am? Now you have several self-definitions, okay? You tell yourself, I am a doctor, I am a husband, I am a father, I am good at my job, I'm not so good at my job, I am an expert, I am lazy, I am old, I am this, I am that. And none of these self-definitions are who you really are. You are essence. You are that which comes before all of these definitions. So something you can do is you can write down all the self-definitions you have. They all begin with I am. Okay? And you can view them mentally, see what they feel like, and some of them are going to feel strong, some of them less strong, but none of these things are who you really are. You are definitionless. You are I am. You are pure consciousness, pure I am. So I'd like you to try this for a moment, again with eyes open or closed. Let go of that self-image you just saw, just drop it, and say to yourself, I am. With no extra word behind that. I am. I am who I am. And you being definitionless consciousness, by the way, does not mean that you're without unique energy, unique identity. It's not what it means. What this means is that as you let go of your worldly self-definitions, just drop them, by becoming aware of them and noting this is not who I am. Your unique signature, unique vibration, more and more comes to light. You see more and more what you really feel like and who you really are. Okay? So, if you undefine yourself, you might view one of your self-definitions or view mentally who you think you are. And then on the out-breath, let go of that by saying, that is not I, that is not who I am, I simply am, I am. I am. Now, this is not a one-time meditational practice. This is a practice through all of life, okay? Because you walk around life and you notice how you view certain situations and realities from the filter, from the glasses of certain identities. And many of these identities are actually positive and helpful. You don't have to let go of them entirely, but many are not. And only being able to see things from a certain identity is a limitation. That's why one of the most important undefining questions you can ask yourself is, how would love see this? Okay? How would love see this person? How would love see this problem? How would love see this goal? How would love see this body? How would love see things? Because love is part of your definitionless self. Even if it appears as if love is a definition, it's not. It's your pure being. It's that which is left when all definitions are gone. One of the advantages of undefining yourself is that you begin to see reality more and more as it really is, as opposed to seeing it from certain filters. So if you see, let's say, your company from the filter or identity, I am a small employee, you're going to notice much other aspects of it than if you see it from the filter or identity, I own this company, or I am a boss. You're going to notice different aspects. Every identity you have notices different things. Okay? A question I often ask myself is, when I see something, is who sees it that way? Which part of me is seeing it that way? And then I like to experiment with different roles. Okay, how would I see this if I were a child? How would I see this if I were an alien? How would I see this if I were a criminal? You know, I have fun with this. I flip identities because as you're able to maintain different roles and vibrations, you become more flexible as a human and as a soul. Less fixed on your usual identities. If you have an issue, let's say you have regular stomach aches or something, and you keep seeing it from the role of a victim or the role of I'm a sick old woman or whatever, you're going to keep feeding the same problem. Now, if you take that stomach ache, let's say you have it, and see it from the perspective of a healer or from the perspective of a doctor, or even from the perspective of a healed person, you could ask yourself, how would somebody who's completely healed see my stomach? Chances are that issue you've been working on is going to dissolve. Why? Because every observed reality can only be maintained by an observer, by an identity. You could look at that problem and ask yourself, how would a healed person see it? How would love see it? So what I just shared with you is actually the Enlightenment Technique, which I describe on my website, realitycreation.org. I've also got an audio to it, which I sell. You can check that out on my website. It's called the Enlightenment Technique. Now, once you've undefined yourself, it's also easier to define new self-images. Why would you want to define new self-images that you use instead of them using you? It's because you attract into your life according not to what you want, but according to who you think you are. Okay? So if you actually think you are an abundant person, you're going to always attract enough abundance into your life, if that's your self-image. And most of the time, our self-image is created by past experiences and by what other people told us, either in resistance to what they told us or into imitation or agreement with what they told us. Even earlier, your self-image is created by either imitating your parents or rebelling against your parents. And neither of these two, neither the rebellious inner child nor the agreeing inner parent, is the true self. Neither the inner self-critic that acts like a parent and always criticizes you, nor the little victim who always feels victimized and always rebels against the system and against authority. Neither of those two is you. And that's why it makes sense to build new identities and new self-image based not on past conditioning, but based on who you would like to be, based on your innermost true heart's feeling, your true self, your true inner self. So I'm taking a pause here so that you can think about this for a moment. Now there's another thing you should know, and it's in the way you see yourself versus how others see you. And it's quite interesting to get some feedback from your friends or your family on how they see you, and then compare it with how you see yourself, as well as with how you'd like to be seen. Okay? So I got a little exercise for you. The way you see yourself and the way others see you should be fairly close. If the two are too far apart, something is wrong. Something is wrong. It means that you see yourself radically different than they see you, but you don't really see yourself that way. It means you would like to be a certain way, but you don't really believe it. The secret here is, if you really believe that you are a certain way, other people are going to see you that way. And if they don't see you that way, you don't really believe it. So other people are the perfect feedback system for what you truly believe about yourself. Okay? So I got a little exercise here for you. Take a sheet of paper and a pen and create 4 columns. In the first column, write how people see you. So that's the title of the first column, How People See Me. In the second column, write how you see yourself. In the third column, write how you really feel authentically. And in the fourth column, write down how you'd like to be and you'd like other people to see you. Okay? I'm going to let you do this exercise after the presentation. And once you've done it, I'd just like you to contemplate on these 4 columns. So as you contrast these points mentally, you hold something from column 1 in mind, then something from column 2 for 30 seconds or so, then column 3, then column 4. And as you keep contrasting that mentally, it becomes obvious. Okay, your fake selves, your fake self versus your true self versus who you really want to be. And it becomes easier to create yourself as who you want to be because you've contrasted these things and you've taught your subconscious the difference. Okay? So take this sheet of paper as a template for self-improvement. That was Undefine Yourself. My name is Fred Dodson. Thank you very much.